Our band of adventurers, the Telaria, are currently making their way to the port city of Port Honor, seeking to have that as a stopping point before heading on to the Cobbles to help with Aki, and also to meet up with Olivia to help with Kerr's and Fur's little issue of keeping a dragon discreet in the Republic. Your journey had begun, leaving Repharim in the Morag, and making your way southward through the Morag itself, dealing with, once more, the various denizens. Though the jungle wasn't trying to hinder you leaving, it certainly wasn't trying to let you leave unscathed. After several days of travel and a few close calls, you eventually exited the southern part of the Morag. Now, with about a week of travel to get to Port Honor, you decide to avoid the main roads, instead seeking the Othra River that would lead southward directly to the city. Your first day was not uneventful. You had stumbled upon a boat that had seemingly washed up on the side of the river. Within it was a corpse. You weren't able to identify the corpse. You only had on their person a small scrap of paper damaged by bodily fluids and water, with a few words that you gave your own conclusions in regards to. You decided to give the person as close to a proper burial as you could, given the location you were in, before you decided to head further along the river. Eventually, night fell, and you set up camp, where a few conversations were had between individuals about many topics. But, as luck would have it, your night was uneventful. You were able to wake up the next morning, have a meal, and proceed onwards towards Port Honor. And that is where we left off. So, I know that we had the roll, I'm pretty sure, for the day. Well, it's not showing up on the chat for some reason, but I definitely know for the fact that we had it. So.
Yep. It was a 7.
Yep. So you continue heading onwards, further and further south, keeping the river within eyesight, though on occasion the ground gets a bit too muddy to warrant being right next to it, and so you sort of move up along the side on the embankments. Eventually, however, you notice a man-made structure on the embankment. A small dock. Not super well maintained, but well enough that it won't collapse under anybody's weight. You...
Okay. What does this man-made structure look like? What do you mean?
It's a small wooden dock that sort of extends outwards into the river a little bit.
Okay.
It is weathered, it is grimy, but it doesn't look like it's rotted, suggesting that it has at least a small bit of maintenance done on it on occasion.
Where are we on the map at this point?
You are roughly... let me just... So you don't know precisely where, but you'd assume you're maybe around this area? Like, at most, maybe over here?
Okay. Does it look like there was anything left there?
It doesn't look like it, no. It's just this dock with what looks to be a slightly worn trail leading away from it.
Ooh. That's what
Okay.
that was exactly what I was going to ask about. Yeah, what I was going to ask before you mentioned the trail, if I could look if there were any noticeable like footprints or foot trails leading either to the dock or away from it, like ones that have been like beaten into the ground as if like traffic has gone that way.
Make an investigation check.
Okay, not survival.
No, because you're investigating specifically.
You're taking a closer look.
Indubitably. So early. Woo. Fuck.
5. You look at the path, you sort of like you can see where it can go at the very least. It's not so discreet that you can't see it, but you sort of look. Either this hasn't been used in a while, or it's not used a lot. You can't really see any like, footprints or tracks at all.
Okay. Interesante. So I can't see any foot tracks, basically. Is what you're saying.
No, you can just see the general like worn downness that is shown that things have traveled along this trail, but at the very least, not in a while.
Okay, interesting. Can I see where this old weathered path leads? Like, did it like where does it follow? Like, does it go is it following the path of the river? Is it going further inland?
It does slightly go, at least from the bit that you can see, it does head not directly towards the road, but somewhat away from the riverbank.
Also, just remind me, how long did we assume the man in the boat was dead for?
About a month.
Yeah, about a month.
But the way that I mean the current should go down. Is the current going down south?
Yep. Still heading southward.
Yep. So it wouldn't have been possible for him to casually
like
be further up. Yeah.
Well, or he could have been sailing destined for this dock, but then was killed somehow.
It still means that he was not here for a long period of time. He did not start here.
True. But what I was saying is it may have been his final destination.
I mean, Tom said there isn't anything else here except the path and the dock.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't think there's anything that we could really look for. And frankly, I don't want to stand on this dock if it's like falling apart.
Yeah. Aki will sort of point, like, we'll have looked carefully at the dock and like look along the path and the direction of it, and goes, looks like this place hasn't been used in a long time, and even back when it was in use, not by many. Aki will turn to the group and say, it may be a fool's errand at this point, but it may be of interest if we follow this path. After all, if this is some old smuggler's dock and a hidden thoroughfare for themselves, for potentially a stockpile of their ill-gotten gains along the river to port honor, then perhaps we may be able to find either things of use to us or a clue as to the whereabouts or identity of the smuggler.
Mev shakes her head. I don't think you're going to find anything here, Rocky.
I didn't
That's complete assumption that the smuggler, if that guy even was, came here. And we'd have to go back to the main road, which we're trying to avoid.
Yes, I suppose. Is the path leading back in the direction of the main road?
That's what he said.
For the initial bit that you can see, yes, but you don't know how much further towards the main road it goes.
Okay.
Are you going to derail us for the potential to find something? Heck, there may just be a cabin near here that someone lives at. It's too far from Othrid, too far from Port Honor. They're definitely not traveling through the Morag.
I suppose I'm looking for adventure and drama and intrigue where there probably isn't any.
You got the kind of pick, you know?
What do you mean? As in, like, where we go is entirely my decision?
No, like... You know that saying you've got to pick your battles?
Yes.
You've also got to pick whether going off for potential adventure is worth it or not. This kind of sidestep, I do not think it is worth it.
Yes, I fear the only aim I have in pursuing this would have been just of satiating my own curiosity, and in the grand scheme of things, I fear that isn't exactly a worthy goal. No, chances are this dock would probably just be used by would lead back to some old hermit's cottage. It would be his access to the waterways, or potentially a place for him to have a lovely afternoon fishing. Doesn't mean that...
If you want, we're going to come back up here. Can always mark it down on the map. Come see it later.
Suppose that makes sense. I mean, if we end up... No, the river flows north, like from the north into the south, right?
Yep.
Okay. I suppose we come past it the other way and see if the time it takes for us to conclude our business in Port Honor, see if it's changed or not. Fine. I think for the moment now, we continue on our way and leave this place be, I suppose.
Alright. She takes out the map, hands it to you, mark it down. And I will be right back. I'm gonna grab my smoothie.
Ooh, what kind?
It is a protein smoothie with banana and honey.
Nice. I love protein.
So,
Okay. Yeah, so would Aki be able to know where he was on the map?
Not necessarily. You have a rough idea, as I say.
Yeah, would I be able to use like locations and context clues from like the topography to figure out where it was?
I mean, at the very least, you can just, like, with your perception, like, very far in the distance, see the Makai's Mountain range just starting to get into view.
and can I see the forest on the other side of the banks?
That one you'll have to make like an actual perception check, because trying to spot a tree in the distance compared to a mountain is a
I'm trying to see a cluster of trees though, and it looks to be as thick as the Morag.
yes, but trees aren't as tall as a mountain.
No. Well, yeah, true. I was about to say depending on the size of the mountain, but a small mountain is just a hill. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Aki will sort of peer off and see if he can spot any other sort of context clues on the map, because it's not exactly like a ordnance survey map. It isn't too detailed. See if he can figure out how far away the forest and the other side of the banks are. Hold on. Bing. Bang. That is a 32.
That is a max roll. Jeez. You assume that you are roughly maybe around this area.
Which area? It isn't coming up.
Oh, is it up? Let me... Around here.
Okay. Cool.
You don't know the exact part still, because... Big map, big area. But you can say with a fair amount of confidence, given that you can't see the tail end of this part of the jungle, that you gotta at the very least be around here. Like within this batch.
Okay. You know, it's so nice when like good rolls come precisely when you need them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can I see
Alright, I'm
trees?
back.
So so what you missed was that it was Aki trying to figure out if you could use context clues around to figure out where exactly on the map where they are. And to spot some trees in the distance, he got literally the max roll he can.
Nice.
He got
Nice.
he got 32.
Jesus. Alright.
It's not the most I have. With my fucking magic wardy thing, I can get 37. And okay, yeah. So Aki goes.
His eyes hone in like a fucking owl's.
No, I had the idea that if they like telescope out like gross gross spyglasses.
Oh my god.
Aki.
Did you do that? Mev's commenting.
No, he doesn't. Although you do see that
Exactly.
he focuses off in the distance, and you do see like a dull glow come from the shape of his from the middle of his chest while he's looking.
Yeah, Mev crosses her arms and she grins watching it happen.
Yeah, and actually says, so those mountains over there, they must be the Kais. And then those, I could just about catch the scurry of animals and the twitter of birds. In the distance, far distance, that must mean it's this forest here. The river curves along here, the road is... And Aki will say, Mevla, would you mind if I borrowed your back for a second?
My back.
Yes,
Alright.
I need a writing surface.
She turns around and she still moves her hair, even though it isn't as long, it's still big. So.
Okay, Aki kind of like bends over quite a lot because she's mini.
Yeah, she's a fucking foot shorter.
And he will like get out his like pen and ink, and since he's doing it a bit sloppily, on the map marked on the spot where Tom pointed out, and where Aki kind of just about where Aki figured out is like something. It's like a quickly drawn X in black ink, and scribbled on it is mysterious jetty.
Oh.
And then Aki,
Put like a little dot or something actually on the map, just so
Sorry?
we remember.
Okay, hold on, Thomas. I need freehand in what did I say? Black ink. Hold on.
Yeah.
Tom, can you mark where it was again, please?
It was around this area.
Okay. Hello. I want to draw, please. Oh no, there we go. There we go. Mystery jetty.
Alright. Mev kind of turns her head as you're writing. You know it will be very impressive if that's accurate.
Well, if it's not, I do profusely apologize. I do try my best, but you know, sometimes the best isn't good enough.
All done?
Yes, and thank you. How sweaty would Mev's back be?
How hot is it? I mean, she's used to this. She's actually used to hotter climates. But
Yeah, it's not like it's.
plus it's fall.
Yeah, like it's still like mildly warm, but not like
Yeah.
you know.
Because I thought, like we're in like, because the Mirage is supposed to be like more of like a rainforesty thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like from what I know, rainforest it's never not like really humid.
You are probably sweatier than Mev.
That is true, actually.
Like
yeah.
you would probably be way sweatier than Mev. Mev, out of everyone, is probably the least sweaty.
Even with all the hair.
Even with all the hair. She probably feels even better because she had all that hair before.
Yeah, true.
There's probably some beads of sweat just because, yeah, you're right. It's like a jungle area, but...
And yeah, Mev doesn't sweat, she glistens, yeah.
Not what I said, but...
It turns out that like one of Mev's main fucking flaws is like liable for heat stroke. Okay.
Yeah, it's me. That's for sure.
Okay, Tom, is it hot up in the north?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just checking because it's boiling down here.
It's
Anyway,
it's 24 over. It's 24 over here at
I think
least.
it was like 30. I think it was like 30 down here.
Yeah, well, it's always warm down there. Anyway.
Imagine.
Yeah, this is Fahrenheit. It's actually below freezing here.
Alright.
Yeah,
So...
Aki will, just after using the map, we'll get the map from it, make sure it's still lasting, and then I guess fold it or roll it back up, however we were storing it. And are you the map master? Mev?
Yeah, Mev's been holding on to it this whole time. In fact, when you open the map, she's been doodling in it.
Oh no, what the fuck has she been doodling?
Just,
Actually, for fun,
pictures.
Would you be inclined to draw some of these pictures on the map in the game?
Fucking. Oh no, I do. Tom just erases them.
I have not erased them since I realised that you were doing that. I have not erased any better.
Mev marks down, like little alcoves that you find. She marked down Referum. She made a mark where you do notice. Yes, she did write Kevin a bunch of fucking times because she thought it was funny.
Yeah. Aki will. I think. Yeah, he's focusing on like looking there, but then as he's sort of packing it up, he takes a wider look at the map and like looks at all the doodles and goes, Mevela, you are aware that this is a navigational aid, not something for your amusement, yes?
It helps me remember.
Well, it helps
she shrugs.
It helps you remember the fact that the map maker's got the name of Kev Lane and Kev Lane Lake wrong, and it's actually Kevin.
I just think it would be a better name. Besides, if we ever go there, we can tell people that.
What, as if we're some long-term arbiters of forgotten lore, and that it was corrupted in the passages of time?
I never said I was an entirely truthful person. She gingerly snatches the map.
Are some of the... Because I imagine... Are there some lewder doodles as well?
She keeps them pretty family friendly on the map. You have a feeling though that
On the
if
map,
if you asked Mev for other things of hers that have paper,
I would kind of love if Mev just had a piece of paper that she just had written the word boobies on. And that was it.
if you want an example of like doodles that she has done in the mountains up where Toe was and everything,
Yeah.
she drew some of the fish people.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She did like little doodles of them up there.
Oh, cute. Okay.
I wish that it was here, but
You can redraw them. I'm not going to erase them this time.
I think it's because last campaign all we did was like out of character and to be annoying draw on the map. So we kind of
Essentially,
set it
yeah.
up ourselves. I feel like
again.
But now I know, so I won't erase them.
Yes, Mev canonically draws. She is an artist, so. So yeah, she tucks the map back in her bag. She gives you a smile. Did you like them?
Well, some of them were helpful. I suppose it's good to know where like Referim is and where we encountered those fish creatures. But I mean, at least you're not letting yourself go idle. I suppose that's probably worse habits for you to form.
You should see some of the ones that they have of you. She turns around and starts walking.
Aki kind of like this as you walk away. You do maybe catch a murmur of Aki saying, like you do catch a murmur of Aki saying, "We're not sure if I want to." Will I roll insight on a comment like that?
You can if you want to.
No. Am I okay though? Like,
are you? Hmm?
I don't know. I barely know myself.
I actually do have intentions for this.
Oh, okay, fair enough. In that case, yeah, I will roll in Sigurd.
Yeah, I do have something in mind. Holy shit!
I don't think you should even bother deception checking that. You can't match that.
Oh my god! Well, I'll at least roll a deception to see how well she would have done.
Yeah. Come on, natural one. Make it the yin and yang.
Listen.
Deception.
This is just what we get when Ed shows up early.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
on time.
14. Okay. It wasn't bad for a Metbly, but Aki fucking pinpointed shit. Considering how you just fucking analyze things from the fucking mountains in the distance to like birds fucking twittering, you can obviously see things very, very well written on people's faces, and Mev made that sound like an inappropriate comment, but you see she actually there's a heat coming to her cheeks as though she's embarrassed, and Mev is never embarrassed when it comes to sex.
Yeah,
So if
Okay.
it was anything lewd, it would not have mattered.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, well, pretty much. Okay, that's interesting to know. Yeah, so Aki will pick up on all of that, and it gives him pause for thought, but he will not raise anything of it right now. He will continue on the journey.
Good idea, buddy.
Was that a good idea, buddy?
You don't know.
All right then. So I assume that you're not following the trail. You're just continuing following the river, yeah.
Yep,
Alrighty.
that's the plan.
Somebody roll another d8 then.
It's Kindling's turn.
Okay. Roll a d4 for me, Kindling.
Ah.
Okay. So you continue following the river.
Just around the river bend.
Aki, can you make another perception check for me?
Yes, I can. The 29.
Okay. You continue traveling later into the afternoon. You notice a little bit ahead of you something. It looks humanoid. It's sort of like as you look to your right, you see another one. They're very far in the distance, but you can see them. You don't know if they're approaching or heading away from you.
Can I read anything else about them just from... Do they just look like vague sort of like just blotches of like dark specks in the landscape?
Yes, you can just about. They're essentially again giving you a perception. They are a few miles away from you at this point.
Okay.
But at the very least, just due to your high perception, you can see that they're at the very least humanoid. But just because of the distance, you can't tell if they're coming towards you or away from you.
Okay. But they're on the path.
There seem to be like a handful. They're sort of. You just make out like a third one. You can see sort of like keeping themselves spaced apart at a certain distance.
Okay. People in the distance walking either away or towards us, spaced apart at a certain distance. What arrangement are we walking in, by the way? Are we walking in a straight line or just like a big clump of us?
I imagine because there isn't any path or anything, we're kind of clumped.
Yeah, there is a marching order, but it's not like single file.
Yeah. It's like a rough group. People walking.
Yeah.
Okay, so Aki says, yeah, Aki will be sort of walking, and then suddenly he will stop, catch himself, and just start squinting in our direction of travel.
What's the matter?
People either coming or going. Three of them equidistant apart in front of us. I can't read their intent, their possessions, or if they have any signs or sigils to them, but peculiar to see a group, I can't say like this, walking as if drilled on a marshalling ground.
Well,
I don't know if they're friend or foe, or even mean anything, or mean anything to us. But
that means we keep walking. She, however, turns around and points to Kurz. And this is where you come in.
Right.
Well, Aki,
wait, well, what?
this is what we talked about. You have to change him.
Right. Okay.
Polymorph.
Yeah, Aki sort of goes. Okay, I'm a bit out of practice with this. I had a family friend who was more the expert than me, but he did show me a few things, and Aki just sort of like pat and rub his hands together. I'd courteously say, it's just common courtesy. Do you have any preference in animal you wish to be?
So just pick something that doesn't soil my dignity.
All right.
Oh, the little baby worried about his dignity.
How about like a stocky draft horse or a pack horse? Will that do?
Fine.
Oh, okay. This is tricky. I need to do a few things. And Aki will. Yeah, Aki will. Is it? Oh no, it's 60 feet. Oh, okay. So Aki will. A caterpillar cocoon. Interesting. So Aki will just look at Kurz. Will hold out a hand to him and then start chanting in Druidic. And eventually you start to see sort of what looks like golden flecks of firefly light go from Aki's hand and start swarming around Kurz. And after about 2 minutes, these fireflies, the little dots of light, seem to encircle him, and they eventually part to reveal a grey palomino shade draft horse, about just a little bit smaller than Kurz usually is, or the size of an average cart horse, basically.
Fucking.
Yeah, Kurz is a medium creature, so...
A horse would be a medium creature, right?
No, horse is classified as large.
Can be a pony.
Okay, yeah, then... Okay, fine, then he is like a pony, then. I wouldn't think that he's large. Large is, like, bigger than that. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
horses are like 10 feet tall.
Okay, true. Yeah, and then in that case, yeah, you see Kurz has been turned into a young pony. Yeah, a small horse.
If Vacuous feeling malicious, he'd make him a Shetland pony.
Again.
Yeah, I was
Anna.
yeah. Okay, basically, he now looks like a complete with hair like flowing mane and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and Aki goes, okay, there. You look delightful actually, Kaz. As long as I'm nearby and I keep this shape at the forefront of my thoughts, then you shall be no indistinguishable than any other horse on the road.
So we just...
Can he speak in?
Nope.
Under this. Oh yeah, replaced by a chosen beast. Oh yeah, because he basically becomes the animal.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the creature limited by the actions, it can't speak, cast spells, take any other action that requires hands or feet. Okay, yeah, Aki will say, Okay, now, unfortunately, you'll have become a horse, so that means you aren't able to speak. But do a simple thing. With one of your feet, tap yes, tap once on the ground for yes, and 2 for no. All right.
He taps twice.
No.
Like yeah, like well, at least you can still hear me. That's it.
Oh,
Right. Perhaps to sell this, we may have to put a rope around you.
or Fur could just hop on.
Or Fur could just hop on, indeed.
Never rid a horse before, but I can try.
Technically, you still haven't. It's this is literally Kurz, but just looking at it.
Yeah, but he's a horse. He's temporarily a horse, but a horse is a horse.
Of course, but But this...
Aki.
Sorry. Back he can still understand human speech, and he still sees through Kurz's eyes, and he's still powered by the Kurz's mind. He just is a horse for the time being. Simple as that. He still will.
She understands Aki.
Okay, good. What's the problem then?
She just sort of like indicates to herself and then slowly points to the sheer height difference in that Kurz is now.
She, Mev helps her out.
Yeah.
Mev's short herself, but...
Okay, alright. Okay. Still need a rope for reins.
It's alright, we'll go slowly. And you can hold on to Kurz's mane.
Okay. Just sort of like holds on as tightly as she can.
What, you've never ridden bareback?
No.
Yeah, Aki without
Mev fucking throws her head up.
Aki without a hint of irony says, "No, that's very unsafe."
Fucking...
Why? What's it? What?
Mev grins ear to ear.
Oh, I get it.
How else do you control the horse to stop yourself from falling off? That's just reckless.
Oh, Aki.
You see Fur's mouth sort of like twitch upwards into a smile, but she's trying not to.
Aki goes, right, we need to get moving. I can only hold this for an hour, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Mev nods, just the biggest fucking grin on her face.
Yeah. Aki will start leading the gang down the path, going a little bit slower than before, so Fur can get used to riding the horse.
Not a horse, though. Right, Aki? It's not a horse.
It's not a horse, it's a dragon that looks like a horse. But it's like saying, you know, an actor in a biopic about Napoleon is literally Napoleon.
You're way too caught up with the semantics.
I am caught up with the semantics. I'm the vice president of the Pedantic Society, thank you. And yeah, so yeah, Aki will keep walking in the direction of travel. But you do see that he has got like a concentrated sort of gritted teeth look on his face as they go.
Alright. So you continue onwards. 10 minutes pass. 20. 30. Around the 40-minute mark, you can all pretty clearly see the individuals that are walking. They are walking towards you. and you do see the occasional glint of sunlight reflecting off armor.
Yeah.
Do they look to have any sigils on them or anything?
Make a perception check. You're still a sizable distance away, but
Yeah. Aki seeing the glint.
How
in the
the
distance.
fuck? How are these guys so far away? A
Because-
mile takes like at most 5 minutes.
they're more than a mile.
Well, with average walking speed. it
Aki
takes
can
around-
see a mile away. More
Yeah.
than a mile away.
Humans can see. Average human can see over a mile
Okay.
away.
Yeah.
How far can Aki see? I want to know. Give me a
Hold on,
fucking
so-
thing.
If at his best he can see 32, and 20 is like the base. Is 20 supposed to be like is like what like a well trained human can do, like the best a human could do?
Okay, well,
That means he can literally like. see
I'm
with, like, a-
legally blind, so I don't know what you guys are on about, but
IRL or Mev?
Well,
no, IRL.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I know you are, but...
in perfect conditions, humans can see about 30 feet away, but the average is about 12-ish miles.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so
obviously,
what? He can see double that?
yeah, give or take, more
Yeah,
around
he
20
can
miles.
see over the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's obviously if it's completely flat and such. You're in an area with, various elevations and such.
Yeah.
So these.
Okay,
were...
I'm gonna remember this.
Okay.
Why?
Because if you ever ask this question again of can I see something, I'm gonna be like, apparently Aki can see like, fucking 20 to 30 miles away. It's important.
Yeah.
True.
Because of the like the terrain sort of just breaking up the horizon and such, these you assume were maybe about 4 or 5 miles away
Okay.
because of the various dips and such in the terrain, sort of causing basically breaking up the horizon so you're not seeing straight. It's hard to tell at this point, but about another 5 minutes later, all of you can now clearly see these are Zamahan Guard.
Okay.
They're not heavily armored. You can see they've just got like just a breastplate on and such at the most. Actually, sort of approaching the one that's closest to the edge of the river, sort of holds his hand up, just sort of like almost like slowly waving.
Mev is going to give a friendly wave back. Big smile.
All right. Eventually, the soldier sort of reaches up. He's like, excuse me a second, people." And so, like, he sort of like looks over.
How close are we?
About 30 feet from him at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he sort of like turns to where his other comrades still walking, and just sort of like gives a few hand signals, which you don't know what they mean. But you sort of like watch as they stop as well. You can only really see the second one, who also gives the signal to where the third one is. And you see the second one just sort of staring at you.
Is he staring at anyone in particular?
No, just staring at your group in general.
Okay.
Yeah. He will sort of. Well, I stare. He was sort of with a friendly face say, "Well, how can we be of assistance, gentlemen?"
Well, it's just a little odd, you know. You know, there's a road that way, yeah?
Oh, Mev looks at the road.
No,
Or
the road's not inside.
at the road, but like in the direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she turns and smiles at them. We were actually coming from a dock a little bit from here. We're kind of just traveling around the coast, you know?
A dock, you say?
Yes. She turns her head and she points in the direction. It was pretty worn. There wasn't really anyone there.
And why were you at this dock? So, like, gives a few more hand signals, and you see the second one start making his way towards you.
She then points towards the trees. We've been trying to get out of the Marag for a couple of days, and we were lucky enough to be spat out by it. Since then, we've just been kind of traveling until we find civilization.
Sort of looks at you, his eyes have sort of narrowed. That dock's been reported used by smugglers, you know. So, you say you came through the Marag.
Yes.
There's a road through the Marag. Did you not take it?
Have you been in the Morag?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Do you know how easy it is to get lost in there?
Sort of like looks over at Kurz and Fur. What's with the horse?
Mev raises a brow. I told you we were traveling through. If you'd like to inspect it, you can.
I'm just curious as to why you travel through the Marag on a horse, and yet I see no saddlebags, I see no saddle.
We've also got sheep. She gestures to the sheep.
His eyes are sort of like looking at both the sheep and the horses. The second guard shows up alongside. He just sort of leans over and whispers. Aki, you can lip read, so you hear him say, check the animals, make sure that they're not stolen from a nearby farm, yeah? The other guard nods and sort of starts heading towards the animals. For our certainty, we're going to check your animals over. I assume that's not going to be an issue.
No, go ahead. She gestures to them. Kurz hears in his head, behave.
The guard spends about 5 or so minutes just checking each of the animals. Spent an extra 5 on Kurz, just like checking for any horseshoes, any markings and such before walking over back to the first guard and whispers again. Aki, you see him say, no, they are not. No markings, no sign of ownership, no tags on them. It's like they're from the wild. So, like, waves them away. If I were you, I would stick to the road. There's always some undesirables passing through here.
Well, apparently so, if there's... You said smugglers that come through here?
We know of it, but it's too far away for us to actively monitor it.
She nods. Well, I think that's motivation enough for us to get off the coast and get on the road.
It's also good for you to do as well. The creatures are getting a bit rowdy.
You mean like the wildlife?
Wildlife, giants, various creatures of the forest. It happens from time to time.
Is there a reason for that? Don't they only like freak out during natural disasters or something?
The rowdiness of the animals is probably because several of them are going to be hibernating soon. They're scrambling to prepare for it. And obviously, the various other things around here, various other creatures, know that their chance of prey is going to dwindle. So, they're probably scrambling as well.
Right. Anything that we should look out for then?
Just keep your wits about you. And if you
Sounds good.
need shelter, sort of like points towards the road, you're fairly close to Orford. About 2 days from here. If you need shelter, you can go there. I'd say find some cell swords, but I can see you're all armed to the teeth.
Have to be if we're going through that fucking jungle.
Agreed. So like looks you all for a few seconds like, well, on your way, citizens.
Mev gives them a big smile. Thank you for your concern. And she starts heading towards the main road. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he will walk as well, and I suppose if people are looking at him, you can see a face of like sheer concentration, but also like a look of mild panic. And he will whisper to Mev, I think I could only hold this for another few minutes.
Mev, looks back at him, and you hear the familiar little, like, the sound that Mev makes when she connects to you. Yeah, it's like a cell phone ring. Is there any way you can reapply the magic quickly?
No, it's polymorph even for this amount of time is an incredibly wearisome and an energy-consuming spell. Like I would need to have essentially a full night's rest in order to be able to cast it again.
Okay.
You have maybe 10 minutes at the most. 15. I can maybe chance 15. But I can't make
Just
promises.
keep walking at a normal pace. And Mev wraps around. And she goes like behind whoever's in the back. I'm assuming like Havelock or something. Under the guise of like, come on, and she pushes you a little bit, but everyone hears that kind of connection. Aki's about to crack. We've got 10 minutes. We're all going to walk normally. Do you understand?
Got it.
Kindling, Havelock.
Got it.
She turns back to the guards, gives another polite smile. She starts walking, and about, let's say 5 minutes away, Mev tucks into the group, and she grabs your wrist, Havelock.
Yeah. What do you need?
I need you to take care of me.
Darling, there's a lot of way I could take that sentence. What do you need? Speak clearer.
This is something I haven't done before, and I need you to lead me. Do you understand?
Understood.
All right. Let me just look at it. And Mev. Yep, all right. Okay, yeah, I can do this. Mev, while she's still connected to you guys, you can just hear her say, Valkyr, take care of this. And have like you watch as Mev seems to turn almost translucent. And she is like a walking shadow. That's what she becomes. What it looks like Valkyr. And Valkyr will appear over a little distance away from the guards in the other direction. And the ball's in his court.
Okay. From this distance, Aki would be able to see what Valkyr looks like, specifically. But just more for flavor for everyone else. So Aki, you see this figure materialize. Thankfully, the guards are all looking at you or while you're walking away, so they don't see you materialize. But you see a large, burly man, about as tall, if not a little bit taller than Kindling, completely bald head. I need to get my notes fully on that. You can see that he has a few tattoos on his lower jaw and temple. His attire is essentially consisting of what looks like some worn leather pants, though not reminiscent of the current era's pants. You also notice as well several scars on his body, like mostly around like his arms and chest. And you actually notice from just above the elbow down on his right arm, it's still shadowy. Whereas the rest of him appears solid. I'm going to assume, Peach, that you don't mind me just saying all this stuff in the open, yeah?
Go ahead.
Alrighty.
It's Valkyr's time.
So, only Mev hears this, so just keep this in mind, but I imagine it's being relayed over.
Yeah, her connection was cut. So.
Yeah. But essentially, Valkyr sort of takes a second just to observe himself, notices his right arm before he sort of like quickly like rips a small piece off from Levin, sort of like wraps it around his arm before heading towards the guards. Excuse me, sirs. Guards turn around. Oh, hi there. So like looks back at you all. Looks okay. It's like, right. You're aware that you're away from the road, yes? Yes. Sorry. I was following them, but I didn't want to get in the way, you know. This is quite embarrassing for me. Okay. What's your name? How about we start there? What's your name? My name is Vulcan. Vulcan. Yes. I'm from Zamgan. First time coming through here. May have made a mistake traveling alone. You traveled alone through the Morag. Not perfectly, as you can see. Yes, I can tell your wounds and your arm. Do you require medical attention? No. I'm good with medicine. I just how do I word this? I don't know where I am. Could I maybe I don't know if it would be a bit too much, but could you point me in a direction to say like a hunting shack or someplace for me to rest? Well, why don't you just catch up with that? Because I trust the Zeman God. But you know, they could be bandits or smugglers or anything. But you're a Zeman God. You defend the Republic. It's okay. All right. You saw like see him rub his temples.
I can keep this up for a mile. So, as Valkyrie is distracting the garden, the further away they get, I would say around the end of that tether, Mev's shadow actively, like, stops.
What do you mean by stops?
Like, she
Stops
stops moving. And she kind of kneels over on the ground. She's still holding herself up, but this looks difficult.
Okay.
Alright, so right near the tether, like you see Valkyrie also stop as well at this point. They're sort of walking with the guards. What's wrong, friend? Sorry, I thought I saw something over there. He sort of points towards a clump of trees. And as the guard looks over, Valkyrie himself just cuts off the connection. Then dissipates.
Does Mev change back then?
Yeah. Almost like flicking a switch. Like Mev goes from the shadowy figure to herself again.
Yeah. You see Mev on the ground just trying to hold herself up, and she just if she wasn't sweating before, she's sweating now. Okay. She because that's around the time that Curse would go off too.
Yeah. I just sort of like look up towards Curse. You can see that he's no longer a horse.
Yeah. She reaches a hand out for someone to help her up.
Havelock's just gonna try and pick her up.
Okay. We should move quickly. Get a further distance. They won't be able to see us clearly anymore, but
You do hear behind you the sound of someone screaming in fear.
How close am I to our dragon friend?
Right next to him.
Awesome. I'm slapping this on him.
visibility.
And for the rest of us,
How
And the
far
rest of-
away is that scream?
Yeah, about a mile away. A literal mile.
wait. Did what?
Valkyr just vanished from the guard. He was walking with the guard.
But the guards were a mile away.
Yeah.
They were right by it.
No.
We've been traveling for a mile. That's the limit of Mev's stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we're a good distance away. They won't see us anymore. And Kurz is invisible now. But
Okay.
Yeah. Thur quickly
Okay.
slides off Kurz so that
Okay,
she's not
so
just
what-
floating.
So Aki with suddenly him dropping the polymorph, he suddenly you look over to him and he just looks exhausted and drained, and you see that one of his eyes has gone bloodshot, as in like a blood vessel has burst in his eye, and he goes, I held it for as long as I can.
you're fine. Just keep moving.
Okay. Where?
Keep going along the road.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, fine. And yeah, Anaki will basically start like walking as if if he goes any faster, he'll go into a full run.
We just keep moving. We're quickly moving, but we're not running.
Alrighty. So you continue traveling. Havelock, I assume whenever invisibility runs off, you reapply it if you can.
Yes.
Okay. How
So
many?
that's what, 2
2
hours?
2 full hours.
Yeah. You start getting to the tail end of the second hour. You know you've made much more progress because you've been going at a much quicker rate, just trying to get some distance. You do have a few scares every now and then when you see like what looks to be the odd hunter walking by, but thankfully Kurz is still disguised with the invisibility spell. About 20 or so minutes before the second visibility runs out, the sun is starting to set, and you can see, and at this point Fur speaks up and says, we should find a nearby batch of woods. Doesn't need to be anything big, but it'll be easier to hide there.
Yeah, and yeah, yes, absolutely. Is there like a dense like little copse of woodland nearby that we could jump into?
Yeah, there's a few various ones here and there. Fur's gonna do a survival check just to see if she can find a good one. Okay. It's a little bit further inland, but there is a relatively thick clump of trees
Alright.
that you're able to
Heading
soak
over
into.
there.
Yeah, it does sort of, it is in part of like a dip in the hill, which as you sort of like enter into it, first like, okay, this'll work. Deep down, so they won't be able to see us just from flat terrain, and it's thick enough that they'd have to actually come in to spot us. It should work. This should work.
Mev nods. I imagine after like the first hour, she started walking on her own.
Yeah.
What, you don't like being carried by Havelock?
Ask her. So in this little alcove, Mev goes to Aki and pats his back. You did good. All of us did pretty good.
Yeah. Aki says, thank you. Really. That may have been the first time I've ever had to cast that spell. It's fairly advanced for where I am in my training, I'm afraid.
She nods. Alright. Everyone set up camp and then sit the fuck down.
Aki will have a look around the forest for some dry firewood we could use.
There's plenty of it.
Great. Aki will pile up a bundle of it and then grab some brush and some other like just fallen tundra from the tundra. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just like bits of like dried leaves and stuff to make the fire with, and we'll start making the fire. Then light it with a snippet, crack of his fingers, and then as he does, he will use his half thing as well. So let me double check what the half thing actually does, because it's more than just a +5 to stuff. Hold on.
Can't see anything looking in it. It looks like, it's basically
Yeah.
Liamon's tiny huts.
30-foot radius. Total cover blocks the sphere. While in the sphere, you and your allies gain plus to dex to stealth and perception, and any light from open flames in the sphere isn't visible outside of it. So you can still see us inside, but it's just you can't see the flames, I think.
Yeah.
Which means dark vision is the only way you're gonna really see us right now.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright. Yeah, once Beth sets up, she just sits down by the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, Akin collapses by the fire as well. And he says, I really thought somehow getting at the Morag would make things a little bit easier.
You thought that with this big ass dragon with us?
Well, true, but I forgot how much of a hassle it would be. No offense, Kurz. Looking up and seeing Kurz probably standing there.
Some taken.
This is why we're going to see Olivia.
Out of character. Wait, can I ask something out of character?
Okay.
Just double check. Olivia is like the one person we're going to talk to about like, hey, let's hey, I can help out Kurz. I can like get him out of the country or something, right? Or
No, she doesn't really know about Kurz yet. She knows that we want to hide someone, and to do that, we need like jewelry that'll do polymorph, do what you did.
but permanently.
Yes, for at least long periods of time.
Yeah, and she's the one that's currently traveling to Port Honor.
Yep. Man, wouldn't it be great if we ran into her? So, yeah. Olivia doesn't know the full details, but she knows we want that. Hopefully she
Yeah.
comes with it. She said she'd put it on our tab. Alright. So, does that influence what Aki says next?
What about Olivia?
Well, yeah, is he gonna say anything else?
Well, I could just say, yes, but if it's such a widespread phenomena here, sort of the dragon hatred in Karmora, what's to stop Olivia from harboring the same feelings? Because, of course, if I remember rightly, all she knows is we need something hidden. She doesn't know it's a dragon.
Yes, but I'm hoping that we can do a quid pro quo. She
Right.
was doing research into things like this.
And what would we be able to give in exchange?
Well, for one, she could probably help further more than the druids. If she's an expert on these things, or at least if she's doing research on it.
True.
And with Cutters being the way he is, that will help her research too.
Right. So that's the agreement. A test subject in agreement for obfuscating the test subject.
Testing within reason. I'm not going to let foreign Cutters be used like a guinea pig.
I was gonna say, I don't exactly want to be prodded and poked a lot.
No, it's not pleasant.
If not Olivia, then who else? She already has a good experience with us, with her friends. And I mean, there's more that we can do for her than just, hey, look at this cool shit.
True. I suppose on this side of the world, on this side of Karmora, she may be the only one who can help. But if she can't, we may have to go abroad to Naza, the Dragonlands of Anzor.
To what, fucking draw?
I thought there was whole kingdoms up in the frozen north of
That's
Anzor.
what draw is.
I thought there
Ever
was
looked at
another
the map?
one. Wasn't there two? Or whenever another name?
What was it?
Was it
Drawn
Grey Worm?
something. Great Worm? Yes. I think that's correct.
I suppose if I don't know, but
Fuck, it'd be closer to go to Arizar.
Probably, although Arizar's probably a place I know less than Karmora, where I came here.
Mev has a queer look on her face, but she doesn't say anything to that.
Okay.
Right now she's what we've got.
Right. I suppose we have been helping the Iron Accord. They may, if we keep doing what we're doing, we may be in so firmly in their debt that they will be able to deal with that without anything in exchange.
I doubt that. Hiding a fucking dragon is a big fucking deal. Frankly, illegal. But considering the kinds of things that Olivia's looking into, I doubt that she's...
That reminds me, Tom.
Yes.
During our event, during all the time in Karmora, have we even had dragon?
What was that you cut out there?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, even like during all our travels in Karmora, have we ever even seen like a dragonborn?
You've seen a handful.
Yeah, we just saw one in the Morag.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we've seen several.
Okay, I was just wondering.
But yeah, Mev was saying, frankly, I doubt with Olivia's research that she's entirely clean. Not that I'm judging.
No, well, I truly doubt if you hold us up to the paragons of virtue, and I think any of us would be fully spotless, would we?
For now, this is the plan we have.
Right.
So, that's what we got.
No, I do have one more concern, I think.
I'm sure you have a ton more concerns.
This one's fairly brand new, though.
Mm-hmm.
What if the guards we bumped into deem us bandits, ne'er-do-wells, untrustworthy people? And the word about our description gets out there, and suddenly they have patrols up and down the river looking for.
I think they'll be a little too distracted by the ghost of, what was that name you used, Valkyr?
Vulcan.
The ghost of Vulcan. To,
Would Aki have seen the whole thing with
No.
suddenly Valkyr being
No, that was only
You
something
were
Mev saw.
concentrating.
Yeah, one you were concentrating, two, just because of Mev and Valkyr's connection, Mev would have been the only one who would have experienced it if she had chose to.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would have seen Mev's fucking how she fucking dematerialized.
Yeah,
But not much else.
Yeah, Aki went. I didn't mean to ask what happened during that journey. I was concentrating so hard on keeping Kurz as he was that I simply wasn't able to focus on anything else in the fight. I heard some around the time you suddenly sprang back into this plane and my grip suddenly slipped. I heard screaming. Was that your doing?
I think they were frightened by Valkyr's disappearance.
Wait, but Valkyr's a shadow, a man made of shadow. Isn't he already frightening without disappearing?
If someone came out of the woods in the ranks saying that they didn't know where they were and what they were doing, and then suddenly disappeared, wouldn't that be creepy? It's the makings of a ghost story.
Yes.
Hell, if I do that a little more and have Valkyr walk across the coast, I bet when we got to Port Honor, we'd see something on the board for it.
I suppose, or potentially it would be by the time we get from the cobbles and back, it might already be a tavern song across the continent. But yeah, Aki suddenly pauses and goes, "Wait, a man in rag? Wait. Correct me if I'm wrong, but were you able to make Valkyr come to tangible corporeal form?"
You didn't see it?
I heard the guards being distracted and conversing with someone coming out of the forest, seeming lost. But I assume that was a stroke of good luck.
Mev has Valkyr come up out of the ground with, him in shadow, and she lays on the ground and again disappears into her own shadow state, kind of almost melting into the ground this time.
Okay.
To take Valkyr's place.
And I'm guessing literally as like Mev fades into shadow, up comes Valkyr in like full human look. So Aki says, "But how long have you two been able to do this?"
To be honest, just now.
Right. So, now that he's stood in front of me, can I take a close look at Valkyr?
Yeah.
See if I can see what I can learn about him from like his body, because I think you said that he had tattoos and stuff.
Yeah. So, as I say, his overall shape of his body still sounds it's in his shadowy form, except you can see that his skin is very dark, probably a few shades darker than Mev's is. His eyes is a muddy brown color. You can see he's got several tattoos on his lower jaw and his temple. Completely bald. The only time you can see is some worn heavy leather pants. He's got heavy scarring around his front, around his chest and his shoulders, and you actually notice that just above the elbow of his right arm, the rest of his arm after that is just shadow still.
Okay. Aki says, because I'm guessing he's a big dude, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's bigger than Kindling.
Okay, yeah. So Aki says, well, it's good to finally put a face to the voice. Valkyr or Vulcan or whatever you wish to use.
Valkyr. Valkyr is my name. I
Right.
thought it unwise to say my name to these people.
Yeah. Wise, I suppose. You have the bearing of a mighty warrior, Valkyr. I suppose, in terms of combat prowess, you and Mevela must have had some sort of a link together.
I don't know what you would call this other than a link.
Just curious. And Aki will look down to the arm in shadow and say, so I, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine you lost that long ago, and he points to where the shadow is.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Do you not remember a time before you and Mevelair were bonded, or what, or the two sides of a coin, or whatever the true nature of this is?
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Right.
I do not know where I end and Mev begins, I guess is the easiest way to put it.
Interesting. And you don't remember a time before Mevelair?
I do, but they are fragmented. Incomplete.
Interesting. Right. Well, it's clear that doing this swap is rather taxing on poor Mevelair, so it's good to finally properly see you, Valkyr.
It is a interesting experience to feel as I used to, and feel how it is with Mev. I'm sure the situation of her essentially being in the same position I am is a interesting experience for her, but so looks over to the shadowy part, that's Mev.
It's like Aki just says, do you miss it? Do you miss the feeling of being physical?
I've long accepted that I will never permanently be this way ever again. I have long accepted that and decided to take up my charge of making sure that Mevelair enjoys the wind on her face and the feelings that she has for as long as possible. I do miss it, but I accept that my time experiencing it is gone.
Right, it's a kind, noble outlook on life. You know, it's the mark of a good man. Valkyr. Now, if I remember from last time, she seemed much drained from the experience, so I think maybe it's time for you to just swap back.
Of course. You just watch as he turns fully back into his shadowy form, and Mev becomes solid again.
Are you okay, Mevelair?
It feels suffocating. She slowly sits up.
I can't imagine it feels nice. So it confuses me. I have so many questions now. Do you go somewhere to another plane, or does it feel like going to sleep, or tussling in the torrents of a nightmare, or?
It She steadies herself.
Do not feel bound to answer any of that. It's not. It's not within. It's not within my right to know.
I'm just not sure yet. I'm not used to the environment that Valkyr's in. I can't quite move or speak like he does, and she looks to where Valkyr was. It feels like my senses don't belong to me anymore.
Strange. You two really are fascinating.
I'll try to explain it better later.
Yeah. It's alright. Well, for now, maybe I just get some rest. It feels like every second of that looks like it may have been in fact a decade for you.
What about you? You practically blew out one of your eyes just trying to cast that spell.
Yeah, Aki says, "Oh, this it'll pass. It's a spell that takes a lot of practice and is honestly quite an advanced technique. It requires your brain almost to think in 3 different ways to keep as clear a picture of the creature as possible you wish it to appear as, while also focusing on the path it treads, the path it treads, the gait of its walk, how its body would operate. It's almost like it's almost like as if I make him wear an incredibly fine costume, but every single time he rustles or moves, I have to physically re-sew and restitch it within my mind. Because a lot of concentration, while that can be, it's a muscle that can be developed, it's one that doesn't come naturally, essentially. It would take time and energy, especially to do it for as much as I can. It will become easier with time, but I haven't had that time as of yet.
Well, knowing you'll probably catch on quickly.
Well, yes, just like how you can move things around and speak into someone and speak as if uttering from the very unconscious, as easily as breathing. I suppose we both are marvels in our own way.
She smiles at you. Do you mind if I borrow your writing tools for the night?
Of course, absolutely. And Aki will give the bottle of ink and the writing pen to Mevalair and say,
Like the paper and everything.
and the paper as well, and say, there you go, all I have left. Try not to don't spill the bottle, and make sure you keep the nib sharp, right?
I'll take care of your things.
Good. It might be an heirloom one day.
So, who has watches? What's the plan?
As long as I don't need to, hide an entire dragon again, I should be fine to do the first. I should be fine to do the first watch and deal with any circumstances that may arise. And I suppose I don't have any particular mind when it comes to the company I wish, as long as it is company indeed.
She looks to Kurz. Mind if, you gave me an offer a little bit ago.
Yes.
Mind if I follow up on that today?
Sure.
Great. He and I will take morning shift.
Alright. Havelock, kindling, fair. What are your intentions?
I mean,
I'll take anything as long as I get a nap.
Alright, how about you get it over and done with then? You can come with me.
Sounds good.
Excellent. I suppose by process of elimination, it's
me and Kinlan, yeah.
fair and kindling, the fair and the fairy, yes. It was a simple joke, perhaps made without tact or kindness, but a simple joke nonetheless. And I apologize, kindling.
I thought that was funny.
Thank you. Good to see that I appeal to my audience of one.
Oh, what's going on in Kimling's head at that? I would like to click in. Just a little peek. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't stay very long. Mev gets up. All right. I'm calling it an early night.
Yes. Yes, get some rest, Mevalad. It seems your newfound skills may be rather taxing, I'm afraid.
She slinks off to her tent.
What was dinner, by the way?
Probably just rations with how tired everyone is.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
A brick.
I do love the
Salted
idea
pork.
of just like the idea of just D&D rations is literally just being blocks of styrofoam. Although actually, I think in the official D&D cookbook there is a rations recipe. Hold on.
Alright, well, Ed looks through that. Is there anything anyone else is doing?
1 second. Let me see officially what rations are. I think they're called. I think the dwarvish in this. I think they're called iron rations. Hold on.
I imagine it's like mashed and salted veg and meat.
Oh no, they're human. Okay, hold on. Yeah, iron rations. They are. It's your choice of semi-firm or firm cheese. Your choice of hard salami, cured sausage, or like a pepperoni or something like that. pitted dates, dried figs, or dried apricots, a cup of roasted nuts, again your choice, 4 handfuls of wheat crackers, and apparently whole pieces of fresh fruit as well.
So this is just something that you have on like the fucking family road trip.
Pretty
Yeah.
much is just trail mix, yeah.
Yep, it's trail mix.
So everyone's just, which also we don't have in the in the UK, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Well, we
Yeah,
don't have as much landmass to travel, remember?
Well, true. Yeah, we have less trails, I suppose. We have less need for the mix.
The mix.
Although I think whenever I went to the States that one time, I think we got one from like Trader Joe's, and it had like white
Mhm.
chocolate bits in it, and all we just did was just pick out the white chocolate bits and eat them.
Pretty accurate to what you do with trail mix.
Yeah.
I like Cajun trail mix because then I can eat it all and it's super good.
Ooh, Cajun trail mix. That sounds good,
Nope.
actually.
It's fucking delicious. All right.
Yeah.
Sleepy time.
Okay. So, if that is the case, then we'll do the first perception check.
Okay, don't forget +1. Don't forget your +5s as well, though.
Yep. Well, I think you're the one that's going to be rolling for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I take it. And I'm guessing, Havelock, you gonna help me out here?
Yeah, of course. Take the advantage, man.
Yay, buddy, stick together.
We didn't get the third nat 20.
Oh man. But can we get the first nat 4?
First nat
Yes,
4.
we can.
You already got a nat 4 before, remember?
Yeah, you got that for
Oh,
a day.
second nat 4. And then, so that's 20...
28.
23. 28, yeah.
All right. So,
Do I see the legendary ghost of the Offrim Coast?
no, you're not near the riverbank. So, the two of you begin your watch. There's not a whole lot of distance to look, given that you are in sort of the dip in the hills. But as you sort of like keep your heads on a swivel, the only thing that disturbs you is just if the odd owl that sort of lands in the branches above you.
Who?
The odd owl.
Who?
That's gonna be that. Add that. Increase the challenge rating for that encounter.
I'll take the fucking smite by god damage if you want to.
Nah,
don't
it's
mind.
fine. Let's make that 2
Do you want me
gargantuan
to book you a
long
train trip to
legs.
London so you can come down and punch me in the face?
3 giant spiders suddenly appear.
The trees are actually a Goliath long legs nest, or gargantuan long legs nest.
Also, Tom, I just realised.
Yes.
You know how Aki was saying, like, you can hear this crashing about in the distance, like, all the time in the Mirage?
Yes.
Was that the colossal spider thing?
Yep.
Oh my god.
It was a
That's
potential.
fucking scary.
It was a potential encounter, but it's like this thing is gargantuan. There is no way it's going to be stealthy unless it's not moving.
Fair enough, yeah.
All right. So, your watch comes out uneventful.
Okay.
So now it's fur and kindling.
Also, Havelock, if you can hear me,
Yeah, what's up?
Aki offered you a cup of tea during our watch.
Oh, thank fuck. He will take that cup of tea.
Okay, it's sort of like it tastes a bit. It tastes almost like a chamomile minty kind of like refreshingly like lift your spirits kind of tea.
Tasty.
I know. Yeah. And Aki says, "Here you go. Good for breathing life back into weary bones."
So you're gonna drink the rest of the pot?
Once it's cooled down, I don't want to burn myself from the inside out. Thank you.
Suit yourself.
Also, pots are to share. You share a pot of tea. So, you may take as much as you wish. Don't feel the bounds of some imagined social faux pas by drinking too greedily. There's no such thing. If you wish for tea, have some tea. I'm not going to stop you.
Odd question.
All your questions tend to be odd. Why are you qualifying this one?
Okay, Anna asking an odd question here. How
Yes?
many cups of tea is a pot supposed to make?
Let me check.
Well, rich people don't just know that.
No. I mean, okay. I know who's like I know the succession of the throne of England, but I don't know how many cups of tea are in a pot of tea. Hold on. Teapot volume.
That's for the servants to know. Thanks, Nate.
Fair. Okay, so the most popular size is a 32-ounce teapot. Okay, so that's 32 fluid ounces. How much is in the average cup of tea? Okay, and then the average cup of tea is. Okay, well the average a cup in measuring is. Okay, so hold on. So let's say about 5 ounces would be the average. Fluid ounces would be a cup of tea. So that means there's about, let's say about 7-8 cups of tea in a teapot.
Can I roll a d8 to see how many cups Havelock's gonna drink?
Sure. 2.
He will have 2.
Can I roll to see how many cups of tea I drink?
Well, I'll roll a d6 now at this point.
Hey!
What the fuck is going? See, the universe is rewarding me for being early.
Yeah, maybe you should do it more.
Do it more often.
You've
fucking
been
Christ.
blessed today.
Yeah, but Aki is. You see, Aki is like fucking knocking this stuff back, and he just goes like, oh, "Heavenly host, I forgot how good this stuff was."
Careful, Aki, you're gonna piss yourself again.
Listen, it's just an aspect of my countenance I've chosen to embrace. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good tea, though. We should leave some for the others.
All right. If I leave a pot of it boiling by the time we go to sleep, do you think they'd put 2 and 2 together and have some?
We can write it in the dirt.
Right. You are aware that it's dark. And how windy is it, Tom?
Not very. Plus, you're shielded mostly by the hills and trees.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so Aki will go, I'll humor you, Havelock, and he will, and Aki will again will basically make another pot of tea, and stick his kettle into the fire, and then we'll, in the dirt, you see him draw an arrow pointing towards the kettle of tea, and next to it a few of his teacups, and he writes in the dirt, "Please drink."
If that doesn't work properly, I can just kill all the bugs around us and we can use their corpses.
I thought he was about to say I could just kill the party. Holy shit.
I mean, this is tea. This is serious business.
No, not kill the party. Kill the bugs and use their corpses to spell it out.
Also, I think you may have just summed up about like 400 years of British history there. You don't drink tea. There's yeah. So Aki will go. Well, I guess we tried it. No, can you? I've talked to you before about the bug murder. Can you please just rein it in?
If anything tries to bite me, everything is dying. There's no escape.
So
No
if-
mercy.
Wait. So if we arrive at a town and one ne'er-do-well, one person picks your pocket, the entire town deserves to burn in flames.
It won't be in flames, but Havelock's gonna stand up and shuffle a good 10 feet away from Aki before doing a little sword burst. Swish.
What does that do?
It is a 5-foot radius cantrip centered on himself, creates a momentary circle of spectral blades that sweep around him. If you fail the dex save, you take the 1d6 force damage.
Okay. So he
Wait,
doesn't need to do any
sorry.
rolls.
It would be 2d6. No rolls. It's just a cantrip.
Fair enough. And Aki will sort of be taken aback by the sudden fucking storm of swords around you. And we'll just go, would you warrant an explanation? Have a look. What the blazes was that?
I wouldn't burn down the town if someone tried to pickpocket me, but they'd get cut.
But you'd summon a typhoon of razors.
Yes.
How is that kinda?
It only hurts them.
Okay, so your care and your concern is for the buildings, not the sentient sapient beings.
So,
I never struck you as a misanthrope. Have a look, but all right.
alright, come on, Aki. Let's get through this watch. I'm tired.
Yes, I tend to waffle, don't I? And Aki will start looking back out again, scanning the horizons beyond the horizon.
Alright, so the two of you eventually finish your watch. And you wait for Kindling and Fur to wake up, and then for them to start their watch.
Hold on. Havelock is going to once again pet Kindling's head to wake him. Not saying anything. Just once he wakes up, Havelock's going back to his tent.
Good fucking night. Miserable too. I want that on a shirt. Misanthrope, misogynist, Havelocks, all the miserable too.
Alrighty. So, Kindling, you said separate roles for the two of you? Alrighty. Ooh.
Yeah, I may have spiked the tea, guys.
Yeah.
Also, that's a good point. Do you guys see the tea then? I'm guessing you don't if you got that low perception.
We see.
Maybe they were distracted by the tea.
Yeah, it's more of a case of like Kindling Fur just sort of like notices a teapot and sort of like, lifts the top off. It's like, I think they left it for us. Want any? Okay.
It's my favorite.
The two of you spent more time focusing on the tea than you do the than the watch. Yeah, no, it's good tea. Eventually, your watch ends, completely unfocused on what might have happened. And so it is now Kurz and Mev.
Alright. Mev goes to sit down just by the fire, kind of tend to it. And then she takes out her the writing instruments that Aki gave her.
Mm-hmm.
She looks to Kurz. It's a good question. Did they leave any tea?
You want to roll a d8 alongside me, Kindling, to see how many we drink?
You guys see it off.
So Furhead's 5, so realistically Cullen can only have 3 at most. So roll a d8, see how
So
many you
You
drink.
guys need to roll a 1 to have any tea left, or 2.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
They
Finish it.
drink the
No
entire
tea.
pot.
No tea
Alright.
for you.
Yeah.
Yep, nope.
Yeah, so Mev just kind of puts the teapot to the side. She looks to Kurz. I'm writing my mother. I haven't seen her in practically a year now. And I didn't exactly tell her when I was leaving. I just need to write it now before I chicken out.
Of course.
So I'm going to write, and I don't want to keep these things in my head. Would you mind if I just read it off to you when I'm done?
Sure.
I want at the very least to not be able to make excuses with someone. She gives kind of a sad smile. And she will start writing. Doesn't seem entirely like she's paying attention to the watch, but Kurz watches in kind of silence for a long while as she the first couple of times that she's writing, she eventually gets fed up and she tosses the paper into the fire. And it's kind of this repetition of she starts, she gets frustrated, and she tosses it. And it seems like whereas normal people would just like ball it up, she's actively like getting rid of the evidence. But eventually there's a long period of silence as she works, and her face, if he's paying any attention to it, seems to... There's a few times where her face tenses up. Maybe there's a couple tears in her eyes, and there's also parts that she just smiles at. Seems like whatever she's doing right now is very cathartic for her. But eventually she takes a deep breath. I imagine the sun is raising a little bit more in the sky now.
The sun hasn't risen yet, but the sky's getting brighter.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I think this is good. I think. She stares at it for a little bit. Seems like she's trying to start, but she feels embarrassed.
Kurt sort of like looked over where everyone else is sleeping before sort of like readjusted himself, and kind of what he did like at the in the gully when you're watching, sort of like tries to position his wing so it's sort of, I was like putting a shield blocking away from everyone else.
Thank you. I wish they hadn't drank that tea. My throat is fucking dry. Okay. My dearest Volthea, Vian Miai Darnar. It's been nearly 9 months since I saw you, and by the time this letter reaches your hands, it will likely be 10 months. Considering the time it takes for a letter to travel and my efforts to remain hidden. Allow me to address the matter that might cause you to discard the rest of this letter. I want you to know that I left of my own accord that cool night in Orny. After you left, after your warm hand left my shoulder, something inexplicable happened, Mama. She smiles. I was danced around Port Honor and embarked on a journey out of your sight. I can't fully explain yet, but it's been with me all this time, battling the guilt that's consumed me since I left. Her throat tightens. Why don't I share a bit about my journey and the people I've encountered? Initially, I joined a group of Greens that were unfortunate enough not to recognize my face. Although I remained close to the sea I both love and fear, I couldn't bring myself to return to you completely. It provided a sense of comfort, as if our connection hadn't been entirely severed. Perhaps I was too afraid to take the leap required to come back to you. However, the autumn rain arrived, accompanied by familiar winds filled with anger. The waves once again attempted to pull me back into their depths. Yet this time I was washed ashore in tow. For the past 3 months, I've ventured further inland than ever before in my second or perhaps third life, and she glances at Valkyr's shadow. I've always struggled to keep track. I've battled a formidable mage, encountered druids whose stories are told only by a few survivors, and made friends with some intriguing individuals. She glances at Kurz. However, I can't divulge everything just yet. But no matter how frightened I am, I always remember the lessons you taught me. I hold them close to my heart and pass them on to others. So far, it's been going well. Or at least that's what the Telaria says. One of them even calls me Captain. Speaking of the Telaria, she glances back at the tent and then back to her letter. You're not yet acquainted with them. I chose the name, you know, inspired by an old Erazarian tale. Let me introduce them to you. Let me begin with the newest members, Farin Kurz. She reaches over and actually pets Kurz a little bit, smiling. Fur is a petite goblin woman, one of the rare few who are shorter than me. We met while hunting for something that turned out to be quite different than what we expected. I couldn't help but take her under my wing. She's a talented hunter, though lacking in self-confidence and burdened with neuroses. Whenever you ask her a question, she never gives a straightforward answer. It's as if she's unsure of her own knowledge, even when it comes to her own expertise or personal feelings. She reminds me of a fresh-faced Lulu, newly initiated and trying to find her place. I believe she would fit in well with the nymphs. I feel a sense of responsibility towards her, considering our similar circumstance. Like me, she possesses a twin soul, or so I believe. And with the twin soul comes the other half. She grins at Kurz. Kurz, on the other hand, resembles Valkyr in certain ways. He's gruff and fiercely protective of his partner, to the extent that it might hinder her growth in confidence. You know, like the idea of allowing the baby to fail to learn. He also carries himself like an old man, despite being an overgrown reptile in his infancy. She stops for a moment. I can edit that if you like.
It's your letter, not mine.
I wonder if he's aware how he comes across, and how much trouble he could actually cause if he desired. But I won't push him. I believe we've grown quite close. While many would find him intimidating, I feel no fear, especially when it comes to creatures like him. Next is Kindling, a towering tabaxi with fiery fur. His size, accentuated by said fur, makes him appear larger than he actually is, and likely conceals the considerable strength he must possess. He's incredibly stoic to the point where I struggle to understand him unless I delve into his thoughts. A skill that few have mastered. Frankly, it worries me. He claims to be hot-headed, but I find him quite gentle and overly cautious about his strength. It's endearing to watch him clumsily and carefully try to follow your wishes. He's eager to please, and I can sense that. In fact, we have a playful competition going on between us, though I usually emerge as the victor. I noticed during one of our conversations he displayed great excitement when I mentioned my native tongue. Wait until he discovers I'm also fluent in Erizarian Common. I've been trying to break him open for months, Mama. And I think this might be the breakthrough I've been waiting for. One where I don't have to compromise my principles. She takes a deep breath as she starts with this next part. Now, let me tell you about Havelock. Where do I even begin with him? Her hands reach up and kind of trace over the words, trying to keep focus with it. He's as handsome as he is dangerous, standing tall like a tree with wispy limbs. His eyes captivate me the most. They possess shifting tidal waves of cerulean, reminiscent of peaceful days with the sun reflecting in them. But then they turn. The sun fades and the sea turns into black, furious ink that I've always tried to avoid. His eyes mirror our relationship. Beautiful and calm, yet also raging and terrifying. He claims to love me, and I believe he sincerely thinks he does. I love him too, but I don't think it's the same kind. Havelock does terrible things. He's selfish, self-pitying, and at times cruel-hearted. He justifies his actions with love, but it often stems from self-loathing. I doubt he concerns himself with the morality of our endeavors. It hurts me even more when he claims to be my friend, to love me, but fails to prove it through his actions. The emotional pain exceeds any harm he could inflict upon me physically. I don't think Havelock believes that he can be anything other than what I just described. However, deep down, I believe he truly can be better, Mama. He possesses a sensitive heart and a yearning to be loved and needed. He's never had the kind of example I was fortunate enough to have. Something lasting and nurturing. I want to show him that change is possible, but he must be the one to initiate it. She blinks back a couple tears. Considering the current state of our relationship, I am uncertain if he will undertake such a transformation, or if I'm even worth the effort to him. It weighs heavily on me. Okay. Just one more, Mav. She wipes a tear away. And her features slowly relax as she starts to speak. Finally, there's a crease. He's a bumbling druid from Naza who manages to tease me about my accent despite his tusks. He's blissfully unaware of the world outside, often putting his foot in his mouth and speaking in a far more elaborate manner than necessary. I doubt he's ever truly engaged in physical labor until now, and yet he possesses a naturally muscular physique. Cursed half-orc. His physique is more substantial than his behavior suggests. You would expect someone weaker and thinner. Perhaps someone wearing spectacles and lacking polish. But it's incredibly endearing. Chris is intelligent and kind-hearted. I trust him with everything and believe he would do anything to ensure my well-being. Just the other day as we conversed and Mev's face starts to heat up, it seems like this is difficult in another way. I willingly plunged into the water, knowing he would pursue me. And he did. Split the very waters beneath my feet, leapt down, and when he caught me, he pulled me under. Strangely enough, I wasn't afraid at all. I laughed. My heart bubbled with joy like I was the water itself, and amid the chaos that permeates my existence, with fragments of time flitting between shipwrecks and Valkyrie's yellow fields, I was present in that moment. She pauses, and it seems like she skips over something. It lasted only a few moments, but I felt whole. I love him. I've never experienced such emotions before, but I know that love is the only way to describe it. It's terrifying. The cruel irony that he doesn't accept my feelings. The one time I genuinely feel something for another person and they won't ever love me in return. I once told them that my feelings would likely vanish after a week, and at the time I believed that. Now I'm filled with a fear. I don't know what to do with myself, and I'm afraid I'll succumb to the fate of most sea women who fall in love with men from the land and turn into sea foam. I miss you every day, Mama. Not a single moment passes without yearning to see you again. to feel your warm embrace and let my tears stain your poor shirt. Some days I calculate how long it would take for me to return to you, to beg for your forgiveness, to apologize to the nymphs. But I won't do it through a mere piece of paper. You all deserve so much more than that. For now, I will attempt to send you a letter occasionally, from wherever I may be. As long as I'm near the coast, I can always find someone willing to carry my letters to Mary the Barry. It's up to you whether you choose to read them or keep them, but I'll continue sending them until the day I see you again. Osa al Selen Korlan. Idarnar. She folds up the letter, wiping more tears from her face. She looks at Kurz. I intend for you to keep me honest with that statement.
One of the things I'm good at, thankfully.
God. She tucks the letter away. When we get to Port Honor, you need to remind me that I have to send it. Or I don't think I will.
Where is this Mary the Berry?
It's a ways across the sea. Little bit southwest. Probably take, I don't know, a month's worth of travel by ship.
I'll make sure you remember. And if you still don't, I'll take that letter and fly there myself.
Can you even fly yet?
I've been practicing, but no.
She smiles.
Honestly, that's kind of the plan when we get to where we're gonna keep me for a bit.
You're going to learn how to fly?
I can't protect all of you on the ground. Especially if you're too separated. I need to learn to do this.
Don't tell Futter. She'll freak out.
I remember what the druids of Referum said. If they spot me above the trees, then they're doomed. If they spot me near Port Honor, we're all doomed. I'll be careful.
Right. She presses her hand to her eyes, kind of trying to get the tears to stop. I can't believe I just said all of that.
Remember what I told you about not keeping stuff balled up?
Yeah, that's why I told you. You're, I think, the only one that I can be completely straightforward with. And I know that this letter might make me feel better, but it's not something I can hold on to with Telaria.
I see it as this. You said you can be honest with me? Great. That's 1 of 5. Just gotta keep working your way up that.
I guess so. Baby steps.
More than just one
Okay.
of us, it seems.
She looks at him a little curiously. But she doesn't ask a question.
Yeah, he's sort of avoiding, basically avoiding eye contact with you at this point. It's just sort of continuing on with his watch. I will assume because Nev was writing that letter that Kurz does the check solo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Let's see what he gets. A 13. Alrighty.
I mean, better than fucking fern killing
Yep.
combined.
Yeah, he did the same as those two. Alrighty. So, eventually, after you sort of calm yourself down a bit, Kurz sort of like readjusts himself so that he's not covering you with his wing. And two of you finish your watch in relative silence. Eventually, the rest of your party wake up. Does anyone do anything for the morning?
Well, Anki Mev comes up to you. She holds out what little paper is left. Here. Aki,
Edward?
you're muted.
Yes, he is.
Sorry, Aki was in a deep sleep. Aki he hands it back and he says, "Yeah, Aki's." I asked how much is left of the paper.
Maybe like 2 or 3 pages.
Okay, Aki says, "There was about 20 in that bundle." Neverland. Were you like were you starting a chapter of a book, or doing piecemeal sections of a map, or what do you need of that paper? for?
She looks away. Well, honestly, most of it went into the fire.
Why was it dying down?
I just had a lot of drafts.
At this point, Kerr speaks up. She was writing a book about our travels.
Ah, interesting. I mean, if you need a second opinion, I may have spent a couple of non-consecutive days within my family's library reading adventure books and travel tales. If you need an extra pair of eyes.
She smiles. I think this is something that I want to do on my own.
All right.
I'll
I'm glad.
buy you another set.
That's all right. And honestly, I wasn't exactly using it myself. It's fine. I kind of viewed it as paper for if and when a member of the Telaria needed it. It's fine. You don't owe me a thing.
Well, then I'll have to replace it so that I can steal it from you again.
Yes, and I really should employ a wizard to put glyphs of warding on them, so that I'm immediately made aware of anyone ever.
You could always just put the bell on me.
I'm going to be honest. You'd probably assume that if I was going to measure your neck, I was trying to strangle you.
I mean, if that's what you're into.
What, murder?
She she just starts laughing. No, no.
All right. Anyway, did you manage to have any of that tea I left?
What tea? It was gone by the time that we got out.
Those greedy curs. All right. I think I might have some peppermint and some chamomile left. I'll make you a batch before we leave. Delicious things. I think I thought, given how drained and given how drained you looked at after switching places with Valkyrie, I felt like you could need a pick-me-up, and nothing works as well I've found than that particular decoction. I was really hoping you might have tried it.
Well, in the next watch, you can always spend the watch with me.
As if we need an excuse to hang out together, nevertheless.
I'm trying to be subtle. Respectful, even.
Yes, but you forget how well I can read between the lines. Sometimes. Occasionally. Not really that often, actually, now I think about it, but... Anyway,
Alright.
Anyway, I need to get ready and prepared and dressed. In fact, actually, I need to take care of some private business of my own, actually. I think, but it's not for mixed company, sadly.
Private business.
Yes, it's alone time, I'm afraid. You'll grant me that luxury, won't you? Privacy.
Of course, if you need your privacy, you need your privacy. She turns around, but she looks back at you with this big grin.
You watch him. You know the weird sort of waddle someone does when they're holding in a shit?
Yeah.
He does that into into a secluded bit of the forest.
She has to hold her fucking mouth closed to not start fucking cackling.
Yeah, and tell you what, make a perception check. Make a perception check.
I mean, she's not actually gonna watch him. Do you still want me to make a perception?
No, but you might hear something.
Okay. Perception. Right here.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. You hear Aki walk into the walk into the forest, about let's say about 200 or so yards away from the camp, and then about a couple minutes later, you just hear the sounds of grimacing and straining.
Oh no, she's laughing at that. She's walking away and laughing at that. Considering how fucking loud she laughs, Aki could probably fucking hear her.
Yeah, Aki does shout in the way of the direction, and I think he knows the sound of your laugh now. He does shout, I thought you know the meaning of privacy, Mevelair.
I can't help what my ears pick up.
Well, get out of earshot then, by the stars.
She scurries along to get her tent.
Curse just kind of stands there confused for a few moments before he just walks over to Fur's tent. Alrighty. So.
I feel like we need a bit of scatological humour just to raise the tone.
Yeah, it was fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Add a bit of light and shade, you know.
Yeah. So eventually you all finish your various businesses. You pack up and you're ready for the next leg of your journey.
Hold on, I need to add that to my flaws. 1 second.
Would you mind if we call it here?
Just want to eke it along a small bit, but not by much.
Okay.
Has the quits.
Essentially just a roll and a bit of narrative, and then
Piss boy turns into shit boy.
Yeah.
Great. Terrible.
okay. So, if that's the case, I'd like someone to make a DA roll.
I believe it's my turn.
Roll them bones.
6.
Do more than 8. 2 less than 8. Shit. Fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit more than 8.
Just need to quickly check on a small bit. There
But
we
I
go.
have so much fucking
So-
flaws now. I just realized. Jesus.
Can you roll a d6 for me, Mev?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you continue walking. I assume you stay, still away from the road at this point, but...
Yeah, we're going back off the road.
Okay. So, you very quickly cut across the road and start heading back towards where the river is. You continue walking and notice that it's a bit darker than normal. You sort of look up and can see that there's some heavy clouds above you. They don't look like rain clouds, just appears to be heavy cloud cover. But you continue walking for about an hour or so. And sort of in the direction you're heading, you can see sort of a dark smoke trail next to one of the hills.
Okay.
Can I detect or see anything additional?
Make a perception check.
Smoke trail. Okay. Amanaki, do the thing you're built for. Thing. Shit. Okay. 18.
Still maxing the d4s.
Jeez.
You
Okay,
can't
that's
see
even
anything... Well, no, that's not true. You can see something else there. It's not moving. But you can tell just from the distance that this is a much larger than average humanoid. But it's not moving.
Is it standing?
No.
So it's a massive humanoid lying down.
Yeah, but you're still a substantial distance away from it.
Okay. Yeah, Aki will just say, I didn't realize we'd walked into a fairy story. Because I think over there is a camp of a slumbering giant.
Oh. Well, we were warned about that. We might have to turn the other way for a little bit.
Indeed. Well, I mean, are giants not thinking, feeling, sapient creatures? There's a chance that it may be aware of the fact that we mean it no harm and allow us on. Or they
And
learn to be territorial.
the other...
Sorry?
And what about the other conclusion? That they might not give a shit.
No, they may just see us as encroachers upon their sacrosanct territory and start using us as toothpicks.
So, you want to go back to the road for a little bit?
Yes, I picked up many lessons, but possibly one of the most firm was never wake a sleeping giant.
Who taught you that?
Just a silly old storybook. Madame something's Frightful Tales, I think it was called.
Alright.
Okay, so You sort of deviate, sort of not fully heading back towards the road, but sort of keeping a respectful distance. It does make you do approach a little bit more as you sort of try and circumvent around. Aki, with your passive perception, you sort of look over at the what you assume is the giant, and at this point, at the distance you're at, it's not moving.
Like, it's not even breathing.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, Aki says that. Aki says, now the giant we're avoiding, I think it actually might be dead. I can't hear. It's lying perfectly still. I can't hear any. I can't hear the sort of the waves and birth of the wind entering its mighty lungs. I think it's dead.
What do you want to check? I think it'll be a lot harder to bury that.
True, but I was more concerned about what if something even bigger and even more powerful than a giant sort of killed this one and maybe hunting us.
She thinks about it. We can check if you want, but I don't think it's a good idea.
I appreciate your counsel. Aki goes things like, what benefits would we have from disturbing his eternal slumber?
I could always check. I'm faster than you, so...
Good point. Kurt, you wouldn't mind acting as our forward vanguard, would you?
As long as they're not on the road. And he sort of, like, bounds off, heading towards the body of the giant. Based on the conversation that you had before, Mev, you do see him sort of, like, occasionally flapping his wings as he's running.
He's trying.
Yeah.
Aww.
He sort of, like, stops near the giant, and as you sort of, like, still walking along, you can sort of see him. He sort of, like, circles around, and sort of, like, you see him, like, tap it a few times. No reaction. You see him, like, sort of lean down towards its shoulder, and sort of, like, you actually see him, like, open his mouth and sort of bite into it and sort of, like, pull a few times. You just see him, like, slowly walk around. Sort of, like, heads up the hill a little bit to look at where the smoke trail is. Sort of, like, looks around there. Before eventually running back and catching up to you all. Yeah, he's dead.
Capital. Okay. You see anything else when you were there? Just a dead, or just a dead giant?
I saw what looked like a campsite. It's not one for him, like one of ours. And
Hunting party to take down a giant would have to be mighty and skillful indeed.
yeah, I'm not good at how long it is, but the body was still warm.
In that case, we need to get as far away from that campfire as possible. Because the only thing in this land that would be a greater prize than a giant, I believe, would be a dragon.
I mean, it had some burn marks, but the cuts on it are too small. Had a few arrows in them as well.
That's not what I meant. I meant you have a group of hunters hopped up on adrenaline and the glory of victory. They've killed a giant. Now imagine their luck when on the horizon they see something that has been seen in this land in living memory, a living, breathing dragon. What do you think they will do next?
Fine. I might see him try though, and just sort of heads.
I would not want to chance it. and Aki will go to the rest of the group and say, right, we need to head back. We need to head back into the wilderness. It's far too risky. As long as we go the opposite direction, away from this band of hunters and where they possibly may be going, that's what is an importance right now. We can't have them even remotely seeing us and Kurs. Because if word comes out to Cortana or Offrim that a dragon has returned to the southern lands, this place will be filled with those wishing for the blood of our dear friend. So we need to go back into the wilderness and stay hidden. You all agree?
Yeah,
What do people
alright.
say?
I think, yeah.
Paige had to go AFK, and I don't know about the others.
I'm pretty sure everyone all agrees on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that we're starting to cut it close to the wire here. So, as you continue on your way back into the wilderness, continuing your journey to Port Honor, that's what we're going to call it for this session.
Woo!
Ooh.